The Last of Us sets you in a world where violence rules. Most of humans have been turned into mindless, aggressive zombies that search nothing but fresh meat. Needless to say that if you get bitten by one of them, that signifies that your end have come. In a world where, while trying to get the food, you might become the food. Adapting in a world where resources are scarce. And most ironically, after an era of hyperproduction, after reaching peaks of comfort worldwide, falling back into extreme necessity. Recycling isn't a choice anymore, it is an obligation. In a world where you don't have the luxury to sit and think, but you have to innovate in order to survive. Surviving is a miracle, in a place where everything and everyone, more or less, try to end your existence. Every step you take, every decision, might lead to your death, to your end. Living in an omnipresent fear and anxiety. But well, the best part is that you have to kill. And by kill, I mean killing other people. Because, very likely, if you don't kill them, they will kill you first. A paranoia that will consume you. We have the preconception that most of soldiers that suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder do due to the things that they saw, but in fact, they generally suffer from PTSD because of the things they have done. The brutal destruction of who they thought they were. Having to face the uncaring truth, which is that they might be as evil as the people they are fighting, that at the end of the day they are both doing the same thing, which consists of killing. A pretty long introduction which leads me to the main point of the video. Is it Joel Miller's fault that this violence is still going on? Joel Miller's choice reminds me of the Abrahamic story, except that here she would have died, because if he sacrificed Ellie, which is basically like a daughter to him, the only person which is immune to the zombie virus, a vaccine would have been created, but he decided otherwise. Can we blame him for choosing the life of a young girl over the very thin possibility of going back to normality? Indeed, I personally do not think that it would have changed much. Mainly due to human greed and proclivity toward evil. Many obstacles would have blocked the way. Questions such as, who would have the cure first? What will it cost? The opposition of sects. Beside the people who have been already transformed are already lost, and they are the majority. This whole cure thing takes place 20 years after the outbreak. Institutions have already fallen, and armed factions have been created. A constant war over the faint quantity of resources left. Joey Miller have very likely robbed many survivors' hopes, and that's what we can hold him accountable for. However, the violence that has been unleashed cannot be contained by a hypothetical cure that a very few people would have gotten. Very likely a more vicious form of discrimination would have been born. I am certainly not saying that it was the best choice that could have been made. My point is that it is certainly not as obvious as we would think it is. Wasn't Joel's act an act of pure love, not taking into account glory, not trying to be a hero, simply protecting that person who is important to him, trying his best to make it livable. Was it selfish? Well, yes, it was. Was it evil or wrong? This is a harder question. The last point which I would like to talk about is how we can consider Roel as an agent of nature, not letting the real parasite that is destroying Earth spread itself. After only 26 years, nature took its rightful place again. We can admire the majesty of nature, despite the crumbled creations of Earth's parasite. The Da Vinci Code and the Onion parasites treat the question very well. Didn't we as a species abuse existence itself, mutilating other animals for no real necessity or no real reason, for eating tasty food, for entertaining ourselves, for being fashionable, violating forests to build more, and the list goes on. Shamelessly taking advantage of the silence of nature. So, at the end of the day, the question is there an harmony that we can reach? Or is it all survival of the fittest? You crush me, or I crush you. Thank you for listening and watching this video. I hope you will share your opinion.